I encourage all of you guys, get your team on the line because we are going to talk about the system. And if anyone understands how Tuan and I operate, you guys will understand that this training, we're gonna record it, but I think it's really, really important that people hear this because when you guys understand where we are at and the position that we are in, not just in Ollie life, because if you guys understand how Tuan and I's vision constantly is as an entrepreneur, it's not just about the current moment, it's about how far can it go with it. And so we want to get deep into this and really show you guys the positioning of where you're all at in the timing of not just Ollie Life, but this entire industry as a whole. And if you haven't heard me talk about it, then I'm going to share it with you guys today. But not only are we going to share it, we're going to pull the facts because if there's one thing that I cannot stand about this industry and every industry because it's not just special to network marketing. It literally happens in every industry. We want to make sure that whatever we state to you, it's factually backed up. So before we get into it, how do we highlight our face because I get too distracted?
You want me just
So-
you want me stepping in the
Yeah.
room and manage
No,
it?
no, no, spotlight us because if I see all of this, it gets my brain distracted.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I need like focus in order for me to kind of get into my flow. Okay, perfect. Awesome. All right, guys. We have a bunch of co-hosts that are managing this.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys. All right, so we're excited to be here. Welcome, welcome. I know that Tuan and I, we don't typically do a whole lot of training calls anymore because now that the system is in place, we wanted to bring everyone together to really emphasize the importance of building through a system. And now that we're all back from Anaheim, whoever attended it, it was great to see you guys. I apologize that I couldn't hang out with everyone. But I can say we want to introduce to you guys the new and improved system that is presented on OlyNation. But before we get into that, guys, I want to talk about the timing of where we're at so that you understand the mindset of where you are and how aggressive you want to run with this. Because I say aggressive because you wouldn't be getting on this call at whatever time zone you're sitting on a Thursday evening when you can be with your family, you can be with your significant other, you could be doing other things, but you decided to dial into this Zoom to understand how we've been able to duplicate a process that has exploded an organization to break fact $1 million in sales. Actually, it's probably $1.2 million in sales in less than 6 months. And I know some of you guys are like, that's it. That's not our whole team. Our entire organization, which is you guys, in the last 9 months has produced $14 million in sales. So, guys, you need to give yourself a round of applause, bunch of heart emojis, because that's all of your guys' effort. But the specific organization that we're talking about, we took focus. Because if you guys know how Tuan and I are, like when we hone in on something, like we work tirelessly, almost to the point where our fingers could bleed because we work so hard. And this one specific line that we were honed in on did $1.2 million in sales in 6 months. Guys, if that is something you want to see duplicate in your organization, I want you guys to drop a high five emoji. Let me know or comment in the comment section if that is what you guys want to see happen. Then you guys have to be open to the idea of succumbing to a system. And why do I say that? Because many of you guys don't quite understand that whatever you do is what's duplicating. And many of us focus too much on what is working, but we don't worry about what is going to duplicate. And unfortunately, in the moment of you doing what works, you're going to see a lot of fast volume, but then you're also going to see the volume tank. And how many of you guys are tired of a roller coaster system in your business? 1 minute you're doing great in income, the next minute it's crashing. And then you're doing great again, and then it's crashing again. It's going up and down, up and down, and up and down. And guess what it's doing? It's causing your emotions to go up and down, up and down. So I know many of you guys are probably tired of that environment. And so it's going to take discipline for you guys to understand that what you do today is what's going to duplicate. So either you're going to take on the habit of what is simple and what is built in a system, or you're going to focus on what is working and you're too focused on that moment sale and you're never going to duplicate that. So before we get into this and really talk about it, I want to actually share with you guys the facts and data. And so many of you guys, whether you know me or not, I know I can sound really hyper and I talk really fast, but this is how Van is like when there is actually something that I really believe in. And many of you guys may have worked with me personally, or maybe you guys have worked as a sideline, or we've done calls together. But this type of energy doesn't come because, I just make it up. No, if I don't like something, I'm not going to do it. And I cannot muster up any energy around it. And guys, I will tell you this, that before we get into this training, I want to talk to you about why I am the way that I am right now. I've told many people this, that the reason why I decided to walk away from network marketing as a whole back in early 2024 was because I attended a conference in 2023. And I started this call by telling you guys that many people they talk, and I'm going to be very, very transparent, and I apologize if it offends anyone. But to be honest with you, in 21 years, I'm tired of people talking out of their ass. Okay. If you agree with me, drop a laughing emoji. If you've been a part of this industry, if you are brand new to this industry and you can't handle the truth, I'm sorry, this is just not going to be the call for you. I'm all about keeping it transparent. And what I want to do is I want to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. I've referenced this conference many times that I attended this thing called the DSU. And when you guys actually see, no, I'm trying to pull up a photo, guys. Sorry, I thought I was better prepared than this. But I attended this thing called the DSU. And guys, this is a conference that typically happens twice a year. And I want to show you guys this image. I blocked out the company name to be very respectful. But you guys see the screenshot on your screen? If you can see it, drop a one in the comment section because I can't tell what you guys are looking at. Okay, I see a thumbs up. Cool. I think you guys can see it. You guys see this image, right? This is actually me sitting in the seat, and I want you guys to see the timestamp of this. This is in April of 2023. And if you guys can see, I know the writing is really small, but I was talking about this conference where the entire event is all executives and owners, and you're only allowed to attend this event as a distributor if one of your executives or owner invited you to come there. And so when I attended this event, the entire conference was talking about how globally network marketing as an industry has been declining since 2018. It's been steadily declining. Now, there was a bit of a spike, record-breaking recruiting numbers during COVID, but we all know why, because everybody was stuck at home and they were bored and they had all this extra money. So people started getting involved in network marketing, but then they started seeing a steady decline. Well, in this conference in 2023, it was literally talking about how we are battling against the gig economy, specifically the affiliate model. And guys, this company is a multi-billion dollar company that has generated billions of dollars of sales in 20 plus years. And they were talking about how they were integrating their affiliate model. They were breaking it down to all the owners and executives of how they integrated it. And guys, they were talking about, you can see it right here, where it says they earn 20%. And guess what? Does not need to be commission qualified, right? They were looking for a way for the gig economy to participate in network marketing where they were not having to pay active status or do all these things in order for them to get paid. Okay, that was the entire conference. All these big giant companies were talking about it and how to solve this problem of decline in recruiting and network marketing. Because if any of you guys understand, when there's a decline in recruiting, that means that at some point in the next 5 to 10 years, the industry is going to suffer in a dramatic way. It won't go away, but it is going to get to a point where it's no longer lucrative for the vast majority of people to participate. And why is that? Because when you think about it, it makes sense. In today's world, instead of getting involved in network marketing, you can turn your car into a profit. You can turn one of your bedrooms, if you have extra properties, you can turn it into a profit. You could go on the internet and learn something and turn it into a business. It doesn't take money to do that. It just takes time. More people are willing to put in time than they are willing to lose money. So that entire conference was all about how people were sick and tired of paying to be a part of a network marketing company. People were tired of keeping active status. People were tired of a rank requirement. They were tired of doing all these things. And at the end of the day, the vast majority of them didn't make money. So why are they staying loyal to an industry? And so when we came back from that conference, I remember talking to Tuan and our partner about it. And I was literally telling them, I'm not going to make it as a company. If you guys know us, we used to co-own, and I was the CEO, co-owned and ran our own network marketing company. And guys, if you get to know me, I am no BS type of person. I am willing to admit when something is bad because I want to solve the problem. And I will tell you, when I came back, I straight up acknowledged I'm not going to make it because you got these 100, 200, $500 million companies talking about there's massive decline in recruiting and auto ships, and they are trying to scramble to figure out a solution. And you're not going to hear about this because why would an owner tell the field? Because it's going to scare their own market. But guys, I came home saying we are not going to make it because I am a small company compared to them. And if they can't figure it out, how am I going to figure it out? And so we were really moving towards a model that was focusing on not causing people to jump through these hoops in order for them to participate in network marketing. And so what I want to show you guys is the numbers. What are the numbers? Because you guys hear me talk about it all the time, but where is the facts and data? Well, let's just show the numbers where they're at. Can you guys see my screen? Do you see my computer screen? Yes, you guys can see it. Okay. Guys, again, I'm all about showing you guys before we get into this is that you can see globally, okay, in the year, guys, yeah, I get distracted easily. So if you're pushing all these buttons, I get distracted about recording and asking questions. Okay, so in 2018, the global market of network marketing was doing $192 billion. Okay, they were recruiting $118 million or 118 million representatives in direct sales. Now let's jump to 2024. And now let's look at the global statistics of 2024, guys. It is insane how much of a drop that was. Sorry, right here. Retail sales, it went from 193 down to 163 billion. And I believe the recruiting numbers for this is 104. Okay. You guys can see it steadily declining since 2018 that they had, what is it? 118 million people in 2018. And in last year alone, or actually, sorry, 2 years ago, they dropped down to 104 million participants. Now, what does that look like in the United States alone? Okay. In the US, in 2018, there was 34 bill or $35 billion in sales, 6.2 million direct sellers. Okay. I don't think this is all accurate, by the way, because I've seen different numbers on surveys. But we're just gonna go with what this shows. Okay. Now in 2024, it dropped down to 34 billion and it's 5.4 million direct sellers. So why am I telling you guys this before we get into it? The positioning and the timing of our company that when Tuan and I finally recognized Ollie Life and didn't pass it off and say, I don't care, I don't want to pay attention to this industry, I couldn't represent network marketing for what it was, knowing this fact and data that if I know that the current compensation plans that they have in network marketing, the statistics show that 47% of people don't actually make money and most of them lose money. Why, right here, why would I, with my whole heart and integrity, want to promote something that I could never stand behind? Why am I losing everyone? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me get you this. Okay. I know I'm jumping back and forth, right? It actually says right here of the survey that was conducted, okay, by the AARP. They did a study on multi-level marketing, and they said of all the surveys they had conducted, they stated that 47% of the people reported they lost money by joining, okay? And then they said 3% lost more than five to $10,000. So almost 50% of people that join network marketing, they lose money in the opportunity. And why do they lose money? Because they're typically either having to pay an auto ship or they're getting customers to cover what is needed for active status. And we all know the facts of network marketing is most people do not keep a product after 30 days. And most of the people after that cancel their order within 6 months. And so when I was hearing all of this at this conference, and then when our company went into a merger, I literally sat with myself and said, what's my next move? And I know for a fact that I cannot participate in network marketing anymore because I would feel better telling someone to go do Uber than have them join me in another network marketing company. So when Ollie Life came around and I actually sat down and listened to it, guys, for the first time ever, you're witnessing in network marketing a compensation plan that when you purchase your product, that is all you're ever going to pay for. Not a single dollar, not even this hidden service fee will be pulled out of your bank account every single month. And you know what that does? That frees up the stress of the individual that joins you in this opportunity. Because how many times in your business have you had someone say, I'm going to give you 90 days to teach me how to become a millionaire, not because they are unrealistic with the result, but it's because they're calculating how many auto ships they can afford before they quit. Okay? That's what the average person is thinking about is I'm going to give you 90 days to show me how to be a quote unquote millionaire because they're calculating how many months they can afford to stay on auto ships. So in this comp plan, when you buy the product, you are free and clear. Unless you choose to buy more product with the company, you will never ever have to give another dollar to the company. That's number one. You're solving a problem. Okay. You're not forcing people to buy more. The second thing that you're doing is in this comp plan, the most beautiful part about it is you do not pressure people to sell in a certain window frame that causes them to have massive anxiety because, oh, if you don't get it done by the end of the month, your volume's going to flush. And then guess what they're doing? They're calling everybody. Guys, can you just turn on your auto ship? Don't worry, I'll pay for it. Just turn it on and I'll send the money to your bank account. Charge the card. I need 3 more auto ships for me to do this because if I don't qualify, I'm going to lose my paycheck. And if I lose my paycheck, I can't pay my bills. And guys, for the first time ever in this comp plan, you can recruit anyone into your business and you can just let them know. Go at your pace. As long as you're willing to sell, refer sometime because you love the product and you're noticing a difference and you're helping other people get healthy, at some point, I can tell people, guarantee you'll get some sort of rank advancement as long as you're just not in a deadline, meaning you're just doing nothing. If you do nothing, of course, you're never going to get anything. But if you just work at your pace and you sell whenever you want to sell and you refer whenever you want to refer, at some point, we can honestly tell you you will hit a rank advancement because none of the rank volume flushes. And when I started seeing all of that about Ollie Life and what is performing in today's compensation plan, guys, what you're going to see, I will bank Tuan and I's check on this, that in the next 5 to 10 years, this is what you guys are going to witness. You're going to witness a vacuum happen in this industry. You're going to watch the lower level leadership. Let me ask you guys this, participate in this with me. Knowing if you've built or you've been a part of network marketing, you're telling me the 80 to 90% of the organization that makes up the people that don't necessarily make money when they join the industry, because we all know for a fact that every industry, not just network marketing, the top 1% are usually the ones that make a lot of the money, right? So think about the rest of the people that join. You're telling me that when you present them a comp plan that they're used to paying every single month and maintaining qualification and keeping customer status, you're presenting them a comp plan where they buy one time, they never have to pay anything, they don't have a customer requirement, they don't have a rank requirement, and when they sell, not only do they make money, but they accumulate their volume towards their rank advancement and it never flushes. Are you telling me that the 80 to 90 percenters that are the ones that quit because they are paying out more than they're actually making, you're telling me that they're not going to recognize the beauty behind this comp plan? They are going to recognize that. So guess what's going to happen? You're going to start seeing organizations implode from the bottom up. The lower level people are going to start joining this comp plan because they're like, that's a better deal because I don't have to do all this crazy stuff and I don't have to pay all this money to participate in something. And I love how I'm feeling. So you're going to watch them start leaving. And guess what happens? The middle level leaders, their check starts getting impacted. And guess what starts happening? They start talking to the upline. The upline starts hearing the pressure, but you're never going to see the top leadership. They're not going to understand what I'm saying right now because you want to know why? Because 100% of their paychecks are dependent on the auto ship model. This auto ship model has been around for almost 100 years. So you're not going to get these top level leaders to join right away because they're not understanding our language. It's foreign to them because when their entire paychecks are banking on auto ships, the thought of never having an auto ship is absolutely absurd and ridiculous. You wouldn't be making any money. And then guess what happens? because they won't listen. The middle level leaders start looking and they start realizing, wow, I can actually make money and not have to pay out all this money. And then you're going to start seeing new network marketing companies launch what Ollie Life's comp plan. But the data is the data that 1 out of 10 new businesses fail. And when those businesses flop, guess what? The market has been introduced to this concept of a compensation plan that doesn't make you jump through hoops. Guess what they're going to go do? They're going to go look for the comp plan because they'll say the same thing that I said. I will never go back to a traditional MLM knowing what I know. And then guess what's going to happen? By then, Ollie Life will be well established that not only will they have hundreds, I don't know what the numbers are going to be, but Ollie Life, as 3 years old, already has hundreds of millionaires. So it's already an established comp plan. It's already a proven model. So guess what people are going to start doing? They're going to start going to where it's stable, it's recognized, and the foundation is there. So why am I telling you guys all of this? Because Ollie Life is not just a frequency device company. Ollie Life is not just a great compensation plan. Ollie Life is becoming a catalyst shift to the entire industry. And I will say it over and over again because human psychology, it's not hard to predict when you understand the flow and human behavior, is that when people start seeing this and recognizing it, they're going to come fast. But here's the question. Where are you going to be positioned at when they start coming? And this is the question that I'm going to ask you guys before I hand this call over to Tuan to talk about this system that we have pushed into the market that makes it simple and duplicatable. Is are you going to follow a system that works, that's dependent on you, that only performs when you're around, and you're limited to the amount of people that you can talk to in a day? Or are you going to take our advice tonight and you are going to leverage a system that works in spite of you, away from you, and regardless of your effort or not? Because here's the thing, if you guys have a team that is solely dependent on you to exist, you don't have a business, you don't have an organization, you actually have a job. Okay. We didn't join network marketing in order for us to all get a job to be a slave to our business. We joined network marketing in hopes of leverage income, to have financial freedom, to have time freedom. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get it up front. It's going to take some time to build the foundation. But the goal is you want your money and your business working when you're not working. When you're sleeping, there should be business coming in. When you're sick, there should be business coming in. When you're vacationing, there should be business coming in. If you know for a fact that that is not the situation that you are currently in, then I encourage you guys, take out a pen, a sheet of paper, and I encourage you, implement this to the best of your ability. You're not going to do it perfect in the beginning, but you are going to get used to it and you are going to find comfort in it, because Tuan and I wouldn't be training you guys anything that we didn't go out and prove the model. So, with that being said, Tuan and I are now going to jump into how do you build a massive organization in spite of your effort, without you being present and without your involvement, and become so system dependent that if you decide to walk away, your business will continue to grow. And here's how I know this is the perfect example. We went to Asia, okay? There was 100 of us in Asia. And what I find was amazing was there was some of you guys that came up to Tuan and I, and you guys said, "Are these people in your team? Are these people in your team?" We've had that question asked multiple times when we were in Asia. And why do I bring that up to you guys? None of you guys know if we're your uplines or not. None of you guys. Most of you guys don't know. Sorry. Most of you guys don't know if we are a part of your upline or not.
Actually, we don't mind that you guys don't know.
Oh, that's why I said it. That's why it was amazing. Most of you guys are kind of guessing, is Toan and Van a part of our upline lineage? That's when you know you've built your business right. When your own team cannot even recognize where you fall at in the organization, that means that Tuan and I physically did not have to be present in order for the business to grow. Now, some of you guys might be like, well, this person did this. I totally get it. But I'm telling you guys, we're using an example that we took a line 6 months ago and we honed in on this effort of duplication, and it did $1.2 million in sales. And that's why I asked you guys, Gene, yeah, I found out you guys are my upline. That's why I asked you guys, if you guys want this result, we are not going to train anything complicated. We are actually going to train you guys to take your talent away and depend completely on this incredible system. And before we talk about this, guys, I'm going to tell you everything that we share with you tonight. It's everything that we hate about network marketing. We don't do it here in Ollie Life. If you listen to how we do this, everything that causes someone not to perform, the answer is going to be given tonight. But the question is, will you take it serious and actually implement it? Because some of you guys think, well, that's not going to work for my people. I promise you guys, in the organization that we drilled this through, it's every type of person that exists, whether it's naturopath, holistic healers, doctors, professionals, 9 to 5 workers, stay-at-home parents, whatever. It's every background. The ones that follow the system, they duplicate and they grow. So, with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and go through what system we push, and we're going to show you guys these examples.
Yeah, I think what's really important that as you're basically part of this training right now and part of this class, I guess it's a class that we're doing right now, is to really I think the mindset is like not like working hard, but working smart. We say that a lot in this industry, but we end up finding ourselves working really hard and harder than what we need to. What I mean by that is like we're constantly in our own way all the time. How do I know that? How does Van know that? Because we find ourselves in our own way many, many years. And when we decide to actually build Ollie Life, we didn't really want to get in our own way. We actually just wanted to be able to leverage the tools and the systems as much as possible. And what I mean by that is like if Van and I ever find ourselves repeating the same thing over and over, like a presentation, like a training, explaining what PEMF is, anytime we ever find ourselves repeating ourselves, then we find ourselves working harder than we're supposed to. And so for us, we ask ourselves all the time when we're going out there and we're building a business, we're sharing this product, we're sharing this information, how are we able to not get ourselves involved? Because the more involved you are, the more you cannot get away from your own business. And so how like Van and I, we know for a fact that all of you want to have a global business. Every single one of you want to have a business that will run away from you in spite of you, without you, 10,000 miles away, 1,000 levels deep, where a dud can talk to a stud or a stud can talk to a dud, and it doesn't require you being part of it. We hear this. If you've been in network marketing before, you've heard this before. Some of you have never really truly experienced it, right? And some of you have experienced it, but something happened in that company and then you had to walk away or whatnot, right? And then some of you are brand new and you think to yourself, well, I have to learn everything and I have to get in front of people and I have to present this. The more you are in front of people and you are constantly involved in that process, the more it's going to be difficult for it to run away from you. So we're going to give you some true case studies that Van and I are doing right, that have done, and the volume has continued to start running away from us. So that way we can constantly open up new channels of distribution. That's what you guys want. You want to start a new channel and you want that channel of distribution to continue to distribute when you're not involved. And then you want to open up another channel, and then you want to open up another channel, and then you want to open up another channel. But you want to feel that you having these channels to continue to run and you are not involved and you don't feel scared that they can be successful or not. In fact, you should, when you walk away, you should feel so confident that if something happens to you, something happens to anything to you where you could get sick, you could get hurt, you want to will this to your family, this thing can run as long as it possibly can till the wheels fall off. That's the idea of what we're talking about. So, the first thing that we're going to talk to you about is piquing someone's interest. Okay. By the way, when you are learning from what Ben and I are sharing with you guys, we're not going to teach you how to sell the product because we are terrible at selling the product. We're going to teach you how to build a business, which means your business is going to duplicate and run and grow and create distribution channels. But in the process of doing that, you know what's cool? If you do what we're showing you, you will sell a lot of product. So even though you're not learning how to sell, you're going to learn how to build a distribution channel. You will, by default, sell a lot of product. Okay, so the first thing that you want to that we're going to share with you is step number one is you have to pique someone's interest. So what does piquing someone's interest mean? It means that you want to take a temperature to see if they're open to wanting to learn more or not. So you've probably heard Ben and I talk about this a lot, and there's different variations of it. But our favorite way of doing it is just asking people, hey, just curious, have you ever seen this device before? And this approach is not for the cold market, meaning this approach is not for strangers or people that you're going to do advertising. We don't teach that stuff. We really focus and hone into the warm market because this is network marketing, meaning you're driving in depth into your network and your relationships. So um, at the end of the day, when you want to get right into it, we like to just ask them, hey, I'm just wondering, have you ever seen this device before? And you could actually say it on the phone. You could be in the middle of a conversation with someone and you could say, oh, by the way, I'm just curious. I'm going to send you something. I'm wondering if you've seen this device before. They're going to ask you, what device? It could be text message, it could be over the phone. And what do you send them? You're going to send them a picture. Okay, you're going to send them a picture of your device. Now, I know some of you guys are probably going to ask, what device should I send? Your favorite device. It could, for us, we love the P90 Plus. So constantly, uh, sometimes it's in the same picture that I took like 8 months ago. And I still send that same picture that I literally ran into our living room because we had one friend that we wanted to share it with, and I literally ran into the living room and I just took a quick picture. It was a terrible picture, okay? It was on the floor with a carpet, and I just took it, nothing fancy. And then I sent it, and they said, which person? Okay, I was thinking of a person now. So once I sent that picture, the question that the response that
You want to show the picture?
oh yeah, yeah. You can pull that one up. So the response that they usually say is, "What is it?" Okay. So let me repeat that. So that's a perfect one. So whenever you send a picture, most of the time, if you're doing it correctly, they're going to ask, "What is it?" And this is a perfect story that Ben and I share a lot. And this person might be actually on the Zoom right now. But this is a gentleman that Van and I have, we've been friends for so many years, and he does his own thing. We do our own thing. We don't work together. We're just doing our own stuff, right? And I remember I saw him on Facebook, and sometimes you don't think of someone until you scroll through Facebook, okay? So I saw him, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, Van and I have not spoken to this gentleman for a long time, and he's a great guy. We absolutely love him. Okay, he's a great person. So we were texting each other and back and forth and stuff like that. And anyways, so at this moment, I basically he asked me, "What am I doing these days?" And I told him I'm heavy deep into programming in blockchain. Anyone that knows me, I'm really like a nerd when it comes to crypto and blockchain and decentralized finance. That's another conversation. And I'm inside the world of crypto. And then I wanted to transition straight to the point, and I said, "Side note, have you ever seen this device before?" And that is the picture. Okay, nothing fancy.
No,
And
no, no. Well, hold on. I just want to show one more time because you don't have to go through both. But yeah, another one.
it is the same picture that we've been sending out for 8 months. And then he actually missed it. And he said, sorry, I missed it. What is it? No one has shown you? And on the bottom, he's like, no, what the heck is it? So when someone asks a question, this is the part where most people make the mistake. When they ask a question, that is your signal to basically say, hey, I got to give you a call. Do you have a minute? And that's your signal. The other thing that people do that I've made a mistake all the time in the past is I start explaining everything. Hey, have you ever heard of PEMF? This is the frequency, this and that, da 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 da. And every time you do that, remember earlier that Van and I said, you are in your own way. Because the moment you start explaining it, you are the one that is explaining it. You are in your own way, meaning the information would not be explained to him had you not explained it, which means you are selling. So the moment that he asked, what the heck is it? I literally picked up the phone and I called him. So when I called him, did I explain what PEMF was? No. Guys, if you're taking notes, this is very important. Van and I always share our story. We are master storytellers. That's all we do. We just share stories all the time. That's the only thing we talk about. So when I picked up the phone and I called him, I said, "Hey, I got to tell you my experience with this thing." He's like, "Okay, what is it?" And I went through it. I'm like, "Hey, I was actually introduced to this device back in 2023, and I really explained my feelings of the device." After 2 minutes, I don't remember, it's been a while. After 2 minutes of sharing with him, he's like, "Okay, so how does the whole thing work?" Because he still hasn't gotten all the facts yet. Again, this is where most people make the mistake. What
Well,
I
before you say that, let me just share something with
Go
what
ahead.
you just said. Guys, I want you guys to understand why Tuan is sharing this component because let me ask you this question. How many of you guys do you have an organization that is dependent on you to get you to pique someone's interest for them? Okay? Because this is all about duplication, right? How many people can you pique interest for in one day? You can't do a lot. Maybe at most five, and that's like you just not being with your family at all. But how many people can you teach them all to send a picture and do what Tuan just said? Endless, guys, thousands. There's no limitation of how many people can send a photo and say, "Have you seen this before?"
Yes. And what Vanna is saying is like when you're doing that, you want what you want to do is you want to get someone to respond back. What is it? Maybe they might say, "I've seen this before, but I don't know exactly what it is." What is it? When they ask you what it is, you are actually ready for that next step. And that next step is because I know I can read like the questions, right? What are we actually saying? We just share our story.
And our story is not a miracle story, by the way. I think some of you guys think you have to have this crazy impact story. I don't have an impact story until 5 months later. So the first thing we tell them is we feel warming of the ankles. And the first thing I noticed is my sleep was crazy.
Yep.
That's it. Guys, my story is not dramatic, by the way. I'm not going to tell you guys all of it today, but you do not need to be like, oh my gosh, this thing did this. No, it's just the first thing I felt was warming of the ankles, and I felt really relaxed.
And some of you are, look, Van and I, we lead with the product because we believe that when you lead with the product, the business becomes really sticky. Some of you love leading with the business. We get it. We've been there. And if you have to lead with that, if that's a more genuine story, that's fine, as long as you're sharing a story.
Yeah, well, here's another example of it, especially since you're saying some of us don't have a story. Of course, then you share your
Story, how you were introduced.
Yeah, share your story of who introduced it to you. And if it was someone else's story, then you can say, well, I actually heard from my friend that this is what it did, and I really wanted to try it myself. And that's honestly, guys, people, I think a lot of people get stuck up on thinking, when I say stuck up, you get caught up in the moment of thinking, like, oh, I got to sell these people. But genuinely, when they ask you those questions, in my humble opinion, they're not really asking you to sell them. They just want to know how confident do you feel about what you're talking about. And I don't feel confident about facts because I'm not a scientist, a doctor, or anything, and I will never represent myself to be that. But I can tell you that yes, I feel passionate from a perspective of what I know, and I'm not going to say like everyone's going to have the same one, but I'm going to share from my reasonings why I'm excited about it. And they just want to hear that in your voice. They don't want to hear doubt, fear, and anxiety, honestly. Just be comfortable in sharing what you know and be honest about it. So I told you guys, if you haven't met me yet and you don't know me, I'm sorry, but I'm always just going to tell you the truth. You may not like it, but you at least you'll know I'll always be honest. And if I had a bad experience about something, I will tell you, but then I will also tell you why I am continuing forward. That's it. That's how I share with people all the time.
Okay, so let's recap so far because we have a couple steps here. So number one, you pique someone's interest. Number two, you share a photo. Number three, you share your story. Okay. If you've done all this correctly with being authentic, being yourself, you don't have to, if you're not really normally an excited person, just and if you're normally not an excited person and you got just a 10% little excited, they're gonna be curious. If you're really normally excited, okay, and then you just dropped it down a notch, they're gonna be curious. They're like, why is she so chill? Okay, all I'm saying is just as long as you're yourself, you're authentic, you're doing what we've shown you, the peaking interest, sharing photo, sharing your story, then someone's gonna say, so how does it work? If you're doing it right, they're gonna ask you, how does it work? Because they're just biting at the bit, wondering, how does the device work? How does this opportunity work? They're gonna ask you that. And when they ask you that, then this is what you're going to say. You're gonna say, well, you know what? I'm not the best person to explain it, but I have a video that is 5 minutes that explains what I'm talking about. If I send you the website, can you do me a favor and click on that video and watch it right now? Let me repeat that. When someone asks you, how does it work? So what does it do exactly? What is it? When they ask you after you share your story, option one, you start getting it in your own way and you start explaining the facts. Wrong way to do it. If you want to do it the right way, how we've been building it, basically the moment they ask you any of these questions, then that's when you say, well, you know what? It's a great question. I have a website that has a video that's 5 minutes. It's perfect for people with short attention spans like you and I. It'll explain everything. If I send you the website, can you do me a favor? Click on the first video and watch it right now. Now, I know somebody might be thinking, well, what if they can't watch it right now? Van and I always have a little bit of urgency because if you don't tell them right now, if you don't suggest right now, they're going to find something else right now to do, something else to do. So we just find out if they're available. If they can't watch it right now, guess what they're going to say? Well, I can't watch it right now, Tuan, but I can watch it like in an hour. Perfect. Check it out. And I'm going to text you back and see your thoughts, okay? So there's a lot of psychology behind that. The psychology is that I, what I tend to do is I basically, when they ask me a question, I go right into pointing for a third-party tool, which is this website, eng.olynation.team or whatever language it is that is fitting them. But I like to basically talk about, people are thinking in their mind, oh, I gotta watch a video. What if it's an hour long? No, I can let them know straight up right now. Hey, just so you know, the video is 5 minutes. It's a short video for perfect for people with short attention spans like you and I. Just do me a favor. If I send you this website, can you do me a favor? Click on that video and watch it right now. And I suggest if they can watch it right now. And if they can't watch it right now, they will tell you when they can watch it. And then you just say, I'll get back with you then. All right. So after they watch the first video and they actually go through that process and they'll text you back. I watched the first video. Great. There's another video. Have you gone around to it yet? I haven't yet. That video is also under 5 minutes. Just click on it. You got to see it for yourself. Okay. So after that website is done, what happens? Well, at that moment, I'm just collecting data. Van and I were just collecting data. So what stood out to you? We just straight asking. So what stood out to you? They're going to tell you what stood out. Hey, what'd you like about it? They will tell you their thoughts, okay? If you ask them what stood out to you, they will tell you, "Oh, I've seen this before." All the answers are all over the place. But from the conversation from there, Van loves asking like thought-provoking questions to get them to ask more questions. So when they start asking more questions, this is what Van loves to do. I see her do it all the time. She goes, "You know what? That's a really good question. Do you have Chat GPT?"
Well, before you get into that, guys, I want you guys to you really understand and emphasize this component is that many of you guys don't know OlyNation.team. That's the tool page that we're talking about. That the reason why you want to leverage the tools that are developed on the OlyNation share the opportunity part. Because, guys, you got to think about this. We're telling you how to duplicate away from you, right? If every single time a prospect call leads to you talking and explaining the frequency and telling them why it is because you know how to close them, you're doing what's working. You're going to make a sale for that person. That's great in the moment. But guys, like the Bible says, do you teach a man to fish or do you teach him or do you give him a fish? Many of us are giving fishes right now. You're feeding them for the day. The next day they're coming back for another fish, but they're not learning how to fish. Using the video is teaching them how to fish because Without you and without your presence, the presentation is being done over and over and over and over and over again. So this is why if you want to grow fast, then you need to have hundreds of thousands of people watching the video, not one, two, three, four, five people hearing your presentations a day.
Yes, and let me just also be clear on this, right? Van's right. People don't use OlyNation.team effectively. Let me just tell you the only part that we only send out. If you can see right there, eng.olynation.team, this is the only thing we send out.
Well, it varies. It's
It
based on the language.
depending on the language. But if we're focusing on English, for example, this is always sending. We don't send them like this, okay? If you're sending this out, it's like it's easy to get lost. But we guide them to what they need to see. So if as a first exposure, that's what we're showing them. Now, from there, if they're asking specific questions, let's say they're asking, "Hey, you know what? Like, how do I know this is there any patents or like, how do I know there's like is there any copycats out there?" These questions do pop up. You can actually go to the safety video and you say, you know, it's a great question. I had that one of those questions too. Let me go and send you a video that's also like a few minutes long. Do me a favor, can you watch it right now? This answers probably all your questions. We do whatever we can to not answer the question. That's what we're trying to say. Now, from there, we basically, when people ask specific questions, this is what Van does a lot. She asks them, hey, have you ever used ChatGPT? And they say
Or
yes,
Grok.
or Grok. If they say yes, then immediately says, that's a great question. Why don't you go ahead and open up Grok? Why don't you open up ChatGPT and type that out? She doesn't even do it for them. You know the reason why is because if you are involved in the situation, you are still tying yourself to the business. So what Van does is she just goes, "Do you have ChatGPT?" No. Okay, can you download it? Yes. Download it because that's a great question. Let me know when you're done. I'm already ready. Okay, the question you ask about, does this help with this and that? You know, it's a great question. Why don't you type that out in ChatGPT? And she literally says, read it out loud for me. So once they start reading it, they're like, oh, that's your answer. Oh, but what are all the benefits? You said it helps with, the video said it helps with sleep and stuff, but what else does it do? That's a good question. You're already there. Why don't you just type it out? What are the benefits of PEMF? You know, tell me more about the sleep? That's a great question. Can you go and type it out in ChatGPT? She truly just outsources her out using AI.
Well, and guys, let me explain to you why I do it like that because Tuan and I were always about we don't want to be involved. If your team is telling you that you are the rock star, you're the superstar that everybody wants to hear from, sorry guys, you bought yourself a job. The day that you guys tell me that, I know some people say that to me, but they don't have me on all their calls all the time. But I'm just saying that I avoid being the rock star in the organization because that means I have zero freedom and the business is dependent on my own growth. And that's the thing, guys. I look at this that if you depend on me, I've disappointed you as an upline because now you're so dependent on me that you cannot function your business without me. That's how Tuan and I raise our kids. Our kids, if you've ever met them, I know some of you guys have worked with them when they were in the Anaheim event. Our kids are super independent. If you don't hang out with our kids, we always get people that compliment how independent our kids are because our kids, when they were younger, we did not raise them to be dependent on mom and dad. We raised them to literally be away from us to find solutions. And my point of why I'm saying that you got to leverage AI to your ability, because here's the one thing that we got complaints the most running in traditional MLM. Number one, when a brand new person gets involved, they're afraid to approach their network, right? So they're afraid they have to educate their network when they don't know what to say. The second thing that they're afraid of is they don't want to close their network. Okay. They get nervous. And you know what I used to always say when we would do three-way calls, right? Three-way calls, three-way chats, three-way messenger. When they would put us in there, we always tell them like, hey, just tell them we're your friend. Don't say we're your upline. That's weird. Don't call us your leader. That's weird. Just say edify us as your friend. And you want to know 100% what I used to always say. Hey guys, don't worry. I'm not going to be on this call to close you because it immediately takes their guard down when they know they're not being closed. So here's the thing about Chat GPT or Grok is that when you get them to Grok search or Chat GPT search, two things you're doing. You're taking the discomfort of making their people put their people on the phone with a stranger or making them feel like they're getting closed. But the second thing you've done is you've empowered them to continue their research to then close themselves versus us closing. How many times have I gone on to a conversation? Tuan witnesses it all the time. I don't close on any of my calls. I will tell them to download or use it, and I'll tell them to punch it in. And I don't even talk to them. I don't even talk to them. They follow me on social media, or maybe I'll text them hi. But whether it's a day, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, they'll call me back and they'll say, Van, I'm ready to buy the product. Oh, yeah, why? Oh, because I've been researching ever since we last talked. They weren't researching. What they were doing was they were punching into ChatGPT and Grok all the things that were coming to mind about their health, seeing if PEMF could help it. Guys, if you understand and recognize what we just told you right now, you've built an entire ecosystem for a brand new person to never rely on an upline ever again. You've created absolutely an independent system that with or without you, they are thriving. You're not giving them the discomfort that people complain about in network marketing. The photo is the peaking, the video is the presentation, and the close is AI. For the first time ever in our career in network marketing, we are leveraging all of that in all the right places because PEMF has been around for decades. You're leveraging the positive content of the internet. And instead of them going, oh, Toan and Van, how many times have you guys had an upline that was like, oh my gosh, I can't put them on a call because they're going to destroy the prospect? Or, man, I can't believe Toan and Van just said that. Now I just lost the sale. Can't believe they just said that story, even though, you didn't warn us.
Humans make mistakes.
Yeah. How many times have we had that moment where an upline destroyed a sale, but now you don't even need them? You prompt. And you know what's so funny whenever people try to use me? Tuan will be a witness to this. I tell them, why do you want me? Do you want me to destroy the sale for you? Leverage the internet. Do you think people are more comfortable with the internet or talking to a stranger? And you know what they always tell me? Yeah, they'd feel more comfortable searching the internet. Great. Don't put me on a call because I don't think that's going to serve your business. And guys, you know what that did? That created awareness for that person that the next time they go to build their business, they created an entire ecosystem for the next person. Some of us think that, oh, if I serve my team and do everything for them, I'm helping them. No, you just gave them a fish to eat for the day. You didn't actually teach them how to fish. Because guess what? The day you go bye-bye because you're sick or you're on vacation, so does their volume, so do their sales. Did you really serve your team member when you look back on that journey? No, you might think, oh my gosh, this sounds a little harsh. I don't know if I could do this. Guys, I'm telling you, it's 100% create that ecosystem for your team to never depend on you because it's not about you not working. It's about what's going to work for them, what's going to generate income for them and their family, because that's why they got involved, is they love the product, they saw the opportunity, but they were depending on you to lead them, not drag them, right? Not ride them, to lead. And a leader never looks back. A leader moves forward. And how do you go? You got to make sure your entire team is following, meaning you can't look back and be like, hey, don't go left. Keep going straight. Every time you look back is you enabling your organization to not become independent from you. And when you don't teach them to become independent, they don't teach their team to be independent. And then what happens is maybe you have the time to sacrifice, but maybe they'll become resentful to you that you made them sacrifice all of their family time to build a business.
So by the time you've done the Chat GPT or Grok and had AI be able to answer their questions, this is like a pit stop for them that they may say, "Hey, I'm ready to get started," right? How do you know? Just ask them, "Hey, don't be afraid to ask these questions like, hey, hey, you want to try it? Do you want to get started?" So you never know. You got to ask them. But from that point forward, if you don't want to ask, you can always, if they're local, there's two things you can do. Number one, this is where you can demo the device. Let them feel it if they're local. because now you're not in the way, right? You're letting the device do the work for you. I would say a Zoom, Van and I, we still are debating on the Zoom concept, right? Let me explain why, because we still have to, hopefully I can squeeze all this in 5 minutes with Van on the training side, which is the most important part. But before I go into that section, we are still debating on the Zoom. Yes, we have phenomenal Zooms. Yes, we have phenomenal local meetings. And yes, our predecessors from Asia, they built on seminars. We love them. We think they're effective. They've been around for 100 years in network marketing. But we still, from now, we still question ourselves how duplicatable it is as an exposure. Van and I believe that if you have a local event, regardless of where you are, and let's say you are the leader of that event, that you're the host of that event, you have 50 people, 100 people on a Zoom, 100 people at a weekly meeting. We believe that these Zooms, believe it or not, it sounds kind of weird, right? We believe it's for the members just to re-inoculate themselves. But we believe that if a member is used to bringing prospects to that Zoom or to that meeting, local meeting, I'm not saying that this is something that we talk about. We just want you to be thought provoked. That what happens if you get sick? What happens if you can't host the Zoom? What happens if you say, I've done this for 3 years and I don't want to host a weekly Zoom anymore? What happens to your business if 100% of your local business plugs into your weekly meeting? But if you are moving people through the process, peaking the interest photos, sharing the story, website, you demo, and then ChatGPT, and then they enroll, then they come to the Zoom, then they come to the local meeting. They're coming there for like confirmation, not for information. They've already made a decision. They've already signed up. So to them, regardless of the Zoom meeting, regardless of the weekly meeting, they've already made the decision prior to that, and that becomes duplicatable. So that means that if you, the host, decide to ever drop your local meeting or your Zoom, it doesn't collapse your business. Because you know why? Van and I have hosted Zooms before. We have hosted meetings all over the world. We've ran our own events before. And when we stopped, when we got burned out, what happens to our business? It fell apart because we weren't there. And that means we are in our own way. Okay?
Guys, and I think you guys I think people are digging too deep into actual words. Automated Zooms are great if they're pre-recorded. The point of what we're sharing with you guys is there's not one specific way. We're just going to share with you guys how we duplicate our way out where we don't have them depend on us physically to always be there. And that is the point of what we're trying to share tonight is that in leadership, this is my humble opinion of what it is you got to go first. Meaning in our household, I believe in health. And if you guys know my house, if you've ever come over to my house, you know that I have candy and soda all at our bar. Okay. I don't deprive my husband or children from junk food because I don't believe in eating it, right? What I do is I leave it there, and I, as mom, wife, I will lead myself first. That I don't really eat a lot of junk food. I will if I travel and I just enjoy time with everyone. But when I'm at home, Tuan, I don't think he's seen me drink more than 2 sips in 18 years that we've been married of a Coke. I don't drink Coke, but Coke is here. So my point is in leadership, we're just leading from the front. We're showing you guys what we're doing and what's duplicating and working. So if you have a system that is automated, that doesn't have your involvement, you are doing exactly what we're sharing, just in a different style. The whole purpose of the entire training is to get to a point where you duplicate yourself out of being totally involved. And the way that we're sharing with you is our way. It doesn't mean that everyone is going to do exactly to the T what we do. But if you have your own system that doesn't require you to show up all the time, then you're doing an amazing job duplicating yourself. We're just giving you an instance, an idea, because the way I believe this industry works is that you have many different leaders and style, and you're going to watch every single training and you're going to pick apart the ones that work best for you and let go of what doesn't. Because not every single person needs to follow it to the exact T, but the baseline foundation of it is if every single step does not involve you, the point of this call is to duplicate away from you.
Awesome. Okay, so guys, we are like on the last bit here. So want to just kind of quickly share with you some stuff, okay? So let's say they look at everything and they say, I like it, right? You just basically lead them, hey, based on what are your top favorite devices if you were to actually get started with? Oh, I like the P90 Plus and the Galaxy G1. Perfect. So, you know that I'm gonna that website that I gave you earlier, if you scroll down past those three videos, there is a form. Go ahead and fill it out right away. Once you fill it out, we're gonna go and enter that information in, and we're going to send you a payment link where you get to complete it. Okay. Once you complete it, you're in, and we're excited. They're gonna ship it to you. Now, at that moment, what are they going to do at that moment? This is where it really stops duplicating. Most people, they sign them up, they're like, yay. And then basically they're like, figure it out. But what Van and I do, and this past 2 weeks, Van and I have been super in the zone on A activity, meaning we're focusing on building and directly sponsoring people on our own. And we're just going to give you some examples. The moment that someone gets started, I want you to see this example right here. This is a person that they signed up. She signed up, and then we said, okay. The moment that she signed up, we said, okay, as a new member, you want to go and click on olynation.team/getting started. So this particular person actually went through the whole training, the whole thing, 19 minutes. Basically went everything, understood everything, and then we said, "Do you want to launch a business?" And I remember Van and I, we said, "Okay, sure, let's do it. Let's launch a business." And we actually booked 2 Zooms with this person, and she invited a few people on a Zoom, and we launched her business. Okay. She actually was able to enroll her first 2 people, and she's excited. She's off to the races, duplicating the system. Now, again,
Sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna move to the next story really quick. So here's another person here. Oh, so this is actually a friend of Van and I. Okay, we've known this gentleman for a long time. He actually got started. He was nervous, right? He's nervous because he hasn't done a business like this. Okay, just to keep it very vague. And then we said, don't worry, we're going to walk you through everything. Because most people, when they start anything new, it is nerve-wracking because you're excited and they say that you're at your highest level of anxiety when you have your lowest level of knowledge. But when you increase your knowledge, then your anxiety level drops. So all that person needs to know is like, do you have their back? So then I said, don't worry, we got your back. So here's what you need to do. And we sent him the Getting Started Right link. Said, go to this website on your desktop. And he went through it. It took a few days, but he finally went through the whole thing. And guess what? We actually booked a Zoom, and he invited a few. Surprisingly, he had like 14 people on the Zoom. Long story short, he was able to sponsor 2 people and was able to get his first 2 direct sell bonus and his first tier bonus. And now he understands the system, and he's just calling people, and he's just doing the same thing. I probably have enough time to share with maybe one more story, okay? Here's another person that got started. We did the same exact thing. You can see a pattern here, OlyNation.team getting started. Here's another person right here. This is a friend of ours that maybe he's on the Zoom. He's one of the first people we showed it to many, many months ago. And then finally, he said, I'm ready to get started. Now he was like, okay, what do I do? We didn't treat him no different than anybody else. We just said, okay, if you haven't gone through it yet, go to olynation.team /getting started. He went through the whole thing. He did 2 or 3 launches. He did 2 launches minimum, and he was able to get his tier bonus, multiple tier bonus now, and he got his direct sell bonus, and he's fired up. Van has one story on this before we wrap up this section. I love when she was sharing this with me. I was like, wow. She was like, she's like, this person, and she's firm, okay? She had, and I don't want to kill the story, but basically, people try to get around not going through the getting started right. And she still goes right back into, have you gone through the training yet? So I'll have Van share that story because we want you to understand how system dependent we are because we focus on duplication, not getting sales or volume. We don't even care about the sales or volume. We care about the duplication because in the end, it empowers our team and it enriches them, not our pocketbook. So I want Van to really explain that part.
And I just want to share with you guys, and when Tuan says I'm really firm, I am a very firm person if you've worked with me. And it's not because I'm mean or I'm being mean-hearted. No, it's because I know that this is going to help you. And so I stay firm in knowing that if I can show you this and you're able to duplicate it, it's going to serve you in a positive way. And so there was actually this couple that actually got started. Maybe they're on this call. They got started and they got super excited. And I was like, hey guys, when you have 20 minutes, watch the video. Then they bypassed that message and they're like, oh man, we have somebody that we're going to sign up. And I said, cool, did you watch the video? And then they were like saying all this other stuff. And I'm like, congratulations, did you watch the video? And they're like, oh, we need to talk because we got to put this enrollment in. Guys, I could have easily taken that enrollment and done it where it's like, let me put you in. Let me put you in. Let me get that sale in. But I did not help them put the sale in until they watched the video. You want to know why? Because it would be a disservice for me to pick up the phone call and bypass the step. Because if they don't go through it, they won't promote it. And I actually texted them that. Make sure you guys watch the video because I want you to know what your team is going to experience. So I did not take the call or the sale until they completed the video. They came back and they were like, done. I'm cool. All right, let's talk later. Guys, that's literally what I do because I could have easily said, "Ooh, it's a sale. Let me close it today." Of course, we're all in that moment, right? But I just said, "No, if I take the sale, they're not going to actually watch the video. And if they don't watch the video, they won't promote it to their team. And if they don't promote it to their team won't know the system. And if their team doesn't know the system, did I really serve this couple by picking up the phone and putting in the sale for them? No, I didn't. So
So
that's why I am very much a very stern person when it comes to the system. Because if I can't master it first, what makes me think I can train and teach somebody else to do it? Just like I can have candy and soda, and I can tell my kids all day long, don't eat the soda or don't drink the soda, don't eat the candy. But if they're watching mom all day long eating candy and drinking soda, they're not going to copy what I'm telling them to do. They're going to copy what I do. So in my style of leadership, I want to go first. I want to show people that I am stern about the system and it's not to be mean or cruel to you, but it's 100% because I know it's going to serve the greater cause of what you're trying to do with this business. And so this is why I encourage you guys, what we're saying, again, the baseline and the frame of this system is you want to build a business that gets away from you in spite of you and will grow with or without you. And when you have that down, that's when your team doesn't recognize you as an upline. That's when your organization doesn't know that you exist. And that's proof that you built this business off of a system, not off of talent. I know that sounds crazy because some of us are so talented. You're so amazing. Some of you guys have a talent that I could never, ever have. But we don't want you to build a business that is capped. We want you to build this large capability because, as I was mentioning before, where we sit at, guys, in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to watch people look for this as the style of comp plan. And when you start recognizing it, are you going to be in a position that your organization has 10,000 members shooting out videos to every network? Or are you going to have an organization of 200 that depend on Toan and Van to present every single time? So you can only capture the net to maybe, whatever you can do in 5 hours, or me and Tuan, you probably get 1 hour a day with us, if that. So you're gonna just limit your business to 1 hour every couple of days or every couple of weeks, or are you gonna have unlimited hours going in your business?
okay, guys, as we wrap things up, I know that there's some things that we skipped over. So when very quickly, when you're launching a new member, you're doing two grounding parties, and these grounding parties could be two Zooms. It could be two local grounding parties in their living room. As long as they're two, that's perfect.
We
And
should go through the training.
yeah, yeah. So basically, two is the key, all right? Now, I know that there's a question is what do I do on that Zoom? What do I do at the grounding party? Does that defeat what you were saying that you are getting your own way? You probably have figured it out. On the Zoom, you should play the videos. You should share your story, is duplicatable, and you should actually launch their business. When you share your story, play the videos. There's a total of 3 videos. Heck, if you want to be very long, you're like, I want to overfeed them, play the safety video if you want. But the truth is, the 2 videos is enough with the story to pique someone's interest. It's enough for someone to say, wow, I really like it. But if you want to be able to share the third video about the comp plan or the safety, it's up to you. But the most important thing is not the videos. It is the fact that you're basically showing it's duplicatable, that you can come in, hey, I'm here to support Frank. Frank is a friend of ours and we're helping him launch. And we just want to share our personal story. Spend a minute, share your story. Then say, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this 5 minute video. It's really short, it's perfect. We're gonna play it and have you actually learn about what PEMF is. Done. You probably have questions about the product. How are you using this PEMF? We have a bunch of different products that you can see. What are the products? Let's play the video. Play a 5 minute video. Afterwards, share some testimonials, share some screenshots. You're done. You shouldn't be any more than just, it could be 25 minutes if you're done with it, right?
Oh,
Now,
questions.
yes, and if they have questions, remember what Van taught you. Tell everyone to download ChatGPT and start asking the questions themselves. Okay? Like the whole goal, I think you kind of figured it out what we're trying to tell you. So if you haven't done so, guys, as we're closing here, Van and I's question to you is this: have you gone through the Getting Started Right training yet? Have you gone through the Getting Started Right training yet? Do you even know what the training is about? Do you even know what they're saying to the new person? If you haven't gone through it yet, homework for tonight and tomorrow. If you can do it right now, I would recommend it. Do it right now. But if you can't do it right now, do it as soon as possible. And the thing is, can you go through the Getting Started Right? And can you get in touch with your sponsor or your working sponsor and say, you know what? I haven't launched my business yet. I want to launch it now. If you feel like you didn't really have a successful launch, Van and I are going to challenge you this week to launch. And how do you launch? Booking two locals, I mean, two grounding parties locally, or two Zooms, or a combination of both. Check it off and say, you know what? I officially launched. I did a grand opening of my business. You know why Van and I are challenging you? Because as long as you do it, chances are you're going to duplicate in your team. And people do not do what you say, they do what you do. People will always follow the tongue that is matching on your shoe than the tongue that is inside your mouth. They rather watch a leader than listen to one any single day. So if you haven't launched one yet, Van said it earlier, make sure they watch the Getting Started Right training. We challenge you today to watch the Getting Started Right. Get in touch with your working sponsor and say, I want to launch my business. If you do it, we'd love to hear your story on the next Zoom that we do because we want to know that you're killing it, that you're leading by example. So, with that, Hun, if anything else you want to say, because we are officially an hour.
No, I mean, we're over an hour. But guys, we don't do this call very often. We don't do trainings very often, but we appreciate you guys sticking through and listening to it because here's what I'll tell you guys. That's all it really is the base of we just want you guys to understand, build off of a system. Everything that we're talking about is on OlyNation.team. We do not have anything stored anywhere else. Every tool, every system, every video is all on OlyNation.team. Guys, get to know that website. That website is literally your best friend, your husband, your wife. Stay married to it because that's where everything gets uploaded and done. So if you
Oh,
can do that, you will absolutely get to a point where you can duplicate this business away from you because that's all we wish for you guys is to get to a point where financially you can enjoy what you've done without the destruction of you being gone.
just think about this before we go, all right? The training, who does the training? The Getting Started Right training does. So you're not involved. Who does the presentation, the videos, the website? You're not even involved. Who answers all the questions for your prospect? ChatGPT or Grok. So you have AI doing it for you. Basically, you're not involved in any of the process. None of it. Even when you launch a Zoom for somebody, when you do a grand opening for someone, you don't even really do anything except share your story and play videos. So you're not even involved. So the only part you're really freaking involved is piquing someone's interest. And we are in the network marketing business. You got to work, you got to network, you got to pique people's interest to move them through the process. But the key is, are you going to get in your own way? And that's what Van and I all want. We have seen the light, okay? For us, we've seen the fruits of our labor. We've been in this network marketing gig for 20 plus years. And trust me, we've been in our own way for a long time. But we're just telling you now, if you can actually, if it clicks for you now and you really apply it, you will have the freedom with the money.
Yep. We don't want to raise followers, guys. We want to raise leaders. We believe that you guys are, well, you have every capabilities to be where we're at or even bigger because you guys have the system that we had no idea. We had to go out and figure it out. So you guys are more empowered than we were when we got started.